High above, sharp talons command the open skies, ruling every shadow that sweeps across the land. On the plains, the pride asserts its dominance over the chase, their teamwork shaping the fate of every pursuit. And in the silence, armored giants lie in wait, their patience as formidable as their power. These are Africa's 7 natural wonders, 7 battlegrounds where survival is tested in its fiercest form. Here, the challenges arise not only from relentless predators, but also from the unforgiving force of the land itself. Before we embark on these epic encounters, tell us in the comments where you are watching from. We truly value the chance to connect with you. And now, prepare yourself for the journey ahead. Welcome to Africa's 7, nature's most untamed and unforgiving arenas. The Great Migration surges like a roaring whirlwind as millions of wildebeest and zebra move in unison across the endless plains. In the shadow of Ngorongoro crater, the largest intact volcanic caldera on Earth, black-maned lions reign over a kingdom as ancient as time itself. Beneath the towering slopes of Mount Kilimanjaro, Africa's highest peak, the crowned eagle dives from the heavens, scattering troops of monkeys in sudden chaos. At sunset, along the banks of the world's longest river, the Nile crocodile waits motionless, a living relic cloaked in gold light. Farther south, the Okavango Delta spreads like an emerald labyrinth, where African wild dogs move with the precision of seasoned warriors, striking as one. The champions list stretches all the way to the Sahara, a sea of scorching sand spanning 11 nations of North Africa. And beyond, off Egypt's coast, reef sharks glide like invisible guardians, patrolling the jeweled reefs of the Red Sea. 7 wonders, 7 stories of survival, power, and breathtaking beauty, each leaving the world in awe. Deep within Ngorongoro crater, often described as a primordial arena of life, dwells a bird bathed in soft pink, as if sunset itself had spilled across the salt flats. This is the lesser flamingo, small in stature, yet bold in character. For them, Ngorongoro is more than a sanctuary. It is an extraordinary natural banquet in the highlands of Tanzania. At the heart of the crater lies Lake Magadi, a shallow, alkaline pool that seems inhospitable, yet fuels an explosion of life. Here, cyanobacteria, spirulina, flourish in dazzling abundance. This microscopic algae forms nearly the entire diet of the lesser flamingo. Rich in carotenoids, it infuses their feathers with a brilliant pink hue, as though painted by the very sun of the equatorial sky. The flamingo's beak is a marvel of evolution, a precise natural filter. Inverted into the water, it sifts through countless microorganisms, separating life-giving algae from the briny shallows. Inside, delicate lamellae act as ultrafine cones, straining food from mud and salt, ensuring only nourishment enters their fragile systems. Although scattered across Africa, nearly 80% of the world's lesser flamingo population, between 2.2 and 3.2 million individuals as of 2025, thrives here in East Africa. Most gather at the great alkaline lakes of the Rift Valley, Lake Natron, Lake Bogoria, Lake Nakuru, and Lake Manyara. Yet none can match the unique terrain and ecological balance of Ngorongoro Crater. For these birds, Lake Magadi is a vital stopover, a safe haven when larger lakes dry, shift in alkalinity, or lose their food supply under the growing pressure of climate change. As the soft pink glow of the lesser flamingos fades across the salty waters, Ngorongoro falls into stillness, its vast landscape settling into silence, like a prayer left unfinished. Within this immense 260 square kilometer caldera, its towering cliffs rising like ancient ramparts, a prehistoric giant continues to endure, the black rhinoceros. It moves without display, without noise, its heavy steps pressing into the darkened mud as though it carries with it the last breath of wilderness itself. Here, the crater offers everything this rare survivor needs. Fresh water flows from the Mungi stream and spreads through the Gorigor swamp. From open grasslands to tangled thickets and scattered woodlands, the habitats provide an ideal refuge for a browser that favors low plants, fibrous shrubs, and woody vegetation. Today, Ngorongoro shelters only about 30 individuals. Yet because they live within this contained basin, the crater holds one of the highest concentrations of black rhinos anywhere in Africa. Elsewhere, glimpsing even a single rhino is a rare stroke of fortune. But here, the chances of an encounter are far greater. It is not boldness that reveals them, but the crater itself. Its walls confine their range, shielding them from many outside threats, and preserving a bloodline of extraordinary value. These rhinos are not reintroduced transplants. They are the descendants of ancestors that have walked this land for thousands of years. Their lineage holds rare genetic adaptations, seasonal shifts in behavior, acute sensitivity to the rhythms of the environment, and a stubborn independence in survival. In a world where biodiversity is fading, such original genes carry immense importance for future research and conservation. The black rhinoceros is not a grazer of short grass, but a browser of shrubs, leafy plants, and woody branches. An adult consumes between 20 and 27 kilograms of food each day, its powerful digestive system breaking down tough cellulose. To escape the highland heat, they feed mostly in the cool of early morning and late afternoon. In the wild, their lifespan stretches from 30 to 40 years. But within the relative stability of Ngorongoro, some live far longer. The most remarkable story is that of Foster, believed to be the oldest black rhinoceros ever recorded. She lived to the age of 57, a living testament to the quality of life this crater can provide. Foster was never raised in captivity. She lived free for most of her life, only moved into protective care when age and frailty demanded it. Her story is both a triumph of survival and a reminder of the fragility of this ancient bloodline. Yet the Ngorongoro crater is not only a sanctuary for flamingos and black rhinos, it is also a closed dominion where predators reign. Among them prowls the serval, a medium-sized cat whose body is built with extraordinary proportions. Its long legs, particularly the hind limbs, give it an impressive shoulder height of nearly 60 centimeters, while its light frame, weighing only between 9 and 18 kilograms, makes it swift and agile. Its oversized ears, upright like twin satellite dishes, are tuned with exquisite precision, able to catch the faintest rustle in the tall grass or the slightest stirring beneath damp soil. These remarkable traits make the serval one of the most efficient hunters in the entire cat family. In the ever-whispering grasslands of Ngorongoro, this elusive cat has perfected its hunting craft. Moving silently through the cover of tall grasses, it freezes the moment prey is detected, often rodents, ground birds, or small snakes, its whole body attuned to the tiniest scratch beneath the earth. Then, in a sudden burst, its spring-like legs launch it into the air, cutting off escape with astonishing speed. With the longest legs in proportion to body size among all cats, a serval can leap 2 meters high to snatch birds from flight or strike down upon a snake within reach. Their hunting success rate, nearly 50%, far surpasses that of lions or leopards. An adult serval may consume, on average, 4,000 rodents, 260 snakes, and 130 birds in a single year, a natural regulator, keeping small animal populations in balance. They are most active in the cool hours of dawn and dusk, when rodents and small birds emerge to forage. But for mothers raising young, the rhythm shifts. By hunting more in daylight, they reduce the risk of dangerous encounters with the dominant predators of the crater, lions among them. As the sun sinks beyond the rim of the crater, deep roars roll across the land, echoing against the sheer cliffs. It is more than just the sound of territory. It is a declaration of supremacy, the voice of the lion, apex hunter of the Ngorongoro crater. Recent surveys record their numbers at just 70 individuals divided among 8 prides. That means a density of up to 25 lions per 100 square kilometers, several times higher than the vast plains of the Serengeti or even Kruger. But here, the males stand out even more, formidable figures crowned with heavy, dark manes. A lion's mane is shaped by genetics, hormones, and climate. Males with darker, sometimes jet-black manes carry higher levels of testosterone, enjoy greater reproductive success, and often live longer lives than their lighter-maned rivals. In Ngorongoro, more than 60% of adult males bear this dark crown. And in struggles for dominance, the black mane confers both a physical advantage and the favor of lionesses. But history has left its mark on this population. In 1962, an outbreak of biting flies nearly wiped the lions from the crater. Only a dozen survivors remained, and from this tiny remnant, the present population was rebuilt. The genetic bottleneck left them with far less diversity than neighboring Serengeti lions, and within the crater's limited territory, where prey is abundant and prides live close together, the pressure for dominance burns hotter than almost anywhere else. When 2 males meet at the boundary of their ranges, there is no retreat. Their roars shake the air, announcing the clash to come. Thick, dark manes shield their throats, both a display of power and a defense against crushing bites. Then they collide, 180 kilograms of muscle slamming together, claws tearing the earth. White fangs flashing for the kill. The battle is not only for land, it is for bloodlines, for the right to hold the pride, for the very legacy of strength. In Ngorongoro, the victor claims territory and breeding rights. The defeated is cast out of the social order. While males defend the pride's borders, it is the lionesses who carry the burden of the hunt. Moving in small, disciplined groups, they weave through tall grasses and roll with the terrain, inching closer to their prey. Across Africa, lion hunts succeed less than 1 in 3 times. But here, in the fertile bowl of Ngorongoro, prides can push that success to nearly 40%. Their skills honed across generations, sharpened by abundance, and bound by the power of cooperation. In the fading light, as tall grasses still radiate the warmth of day, a fierce standoff unfolds. A pride of lions has just brought down a zebra. But before they can feast, silent shapes gather at the edges. Spotted hyenas, not one, but many. Their quick steps make no sound. Eyes glimmer in the dusk. Then comes the shrill laughter. A chilling chorus that rises like a challenge. In Ngorongoro, the confrontation between these two apex predators is as old as memory itself. Here, in this closed arena, where encounters are always face-to-face, the rivalry burns fiercer than ever. With numbers ranging from nearly 400 to close to 500 individuals, the spotted hyena is the most abundant carnivore of the crater. Recent surveys confirm at least 8 clans thrive here, some with as many as 80 members within territories no larger than 40 square kilometers. At such density, clashes with lions can occur almost daily. Raw strength belongs to the lion, but strategy and numbers belong to the hyena. Confrontations begin with watchful distance, escalate to encirclements, isolations, and at times, raids on lionesses when males are away. Lions retaliate in kind, killing hyena pups or lone wanderers when the chance arises. This cycle of conflict has shaped the very balance of Ngorongoro, where the strongest does not always prevail. Unlike solitary hunters, hyenas thrive through organization. Each clan is a tightly run matriarchal society. The alpha female reigns supreme, and rank is inherited by her daughters. Males, once grown, are exiled, forced to leave their birth clan and seek acceptance elsewhere. This dispersal prevents inbreeding in the crater's confined world. Such structure grants stability across generations. Strict hierarchy, disciplined food sharing, and cooperative teamwork in both hunts and defense make the hyena a formidable power, never to be underestimated. The Ngorongoro Hyena Project, one of the longest-running wildlife studies on Earth, has tracked more than 2,800 individuals across 9 generations, revealing the complexities of their society. Males do not disperse randomly. They often seek clans where a brother, cousin, or peer has already joined, improving their chances of survival and reproduction. It is a testament to social choice and awareness rarely seen among predators. Their communication is equally sophisticated, a language of giggles, hisses, whoops, and deep, resonant growls. Through these voices, clans coordinate hunts, summon allies, or rally to defend their kill. Far beyond the reputation of scavenger, the spotted hyena is an ecological architect, shaping the crater's balance through hunting, competition, and the recycling of life. In this closed system, their laughter is not just the sound of rivalry, but the echo of resilience, the heartbeat of an ecosystem both fragile and profound. If you want to live within this sealed wilderness, would you choose the order of a hyena clan, bound by the stability of matriarchy, or the might of a lion pride, driven by alliances and by force of power? The ferocity within Ngorongoro crater is but one fragment of the grand canvas of East Africa's wild heart. Just beyond its rim, to the north, the Serengeti stretches outward, an endless ocean of grass, rolling to the horizon in waves of gold and green. From afar, the ground itself seems to tremble, the thunder of millions of hooves beating like ancient war drums, announcing the rise of a spectacle unlike any other. This is no ordinary gathering of beasts. It is one of the last true wonders of our living world, the Great Migration. Each year, between 1.5 to 2 million wildebeest surge forward, joined by more than 200,000 zebras, 500,000 gazelles, and tens of thousands of eland. Together they embark on a journey that spans more than 800 kilometers, tracing the vast Serengeti Mara ecosystem in a cycle without beginning, without end. Their movements are not random. They follow the pulse of nature itself. Brief rains that spark fresh shoots across the plains. Rivers revived by waters spilling down from the Ngorongoro highlands. The scent of renewal carried on the wind. The herds march to that rhythm, as if bound to a song older than memory, a song that dictates survival. If the Great Migration is a grand symphony, then the Serengeti is its orchestra, the vast stage upon which every note of life is struck, where abundance rises and falls in endless cycles of birth, death, and renewal. Across more than 14,000 square kilometers of sweeping northern Tanzania, life does not merely endure, it explodes in abundance, unmatched anywhere else on Earth. The very name Serengeti, drawn from the Maasai word Serengeti, means endless plains. A vision not only of space without measure, but of movement without rest, a ceaseless tide of life flowing over the land. When the rains fade and the southern highlands begin to clear, the Ndutu region near the Ngorongoro Conservation Area becomes the birthplace of this great march. Here, soils layered with volcanic ash over thousands of years have forged a foundation rich in minerals, potassium, calcium, and silica, that nourishes the grasses. These pastures provide the perfect recovery ground, allowing grazing herds to replenish their bodies after the long, grueling journeys that will once again carry them forward. This is where the eternal cycle begins anew, in the endless plains of the Serengeti, where nature's greatest orchestra never ceases to play. In this region, the grasses grow with astonishing speed, fueled by soils that hold nutrient levels more than 25% higher than the neutral Earth farther north. It is for this reason that from January through March, the great herds converge here, wildebeest by the hundreds of thousands, zebras in their striking stripes, and gazelles in vast numbers, all drawn to the abundance of life. At the very front of this movement stride the herds of Grant's zebra, leaders of the migration's flow, as if an ancient memory were etched into every step of their journey. Unlike the wildebeest, they do not rely solely on the scent of rain, nor do they wait for the pressure of sheer numbers to push them onward. Instead, they travel by memory, a biological map imprinted across generations. They recall paths to water, routes of survival, and even landscapes of danger. In this way, Grant's zebra have become irreplaceable guides of the crossing. Within the Serengeti Mara ecosystem, around 200,000 of these zebras join the annual odyssey. Physically, they differ from the wildebeest they lead. Strong and sturdy, Grant's zebras weigh between 220 and 300 kilograms, stretching up to 2.5 meters in body length, with shoulders rising to about 1.2 meters. They are the smallest of zebra subspecies, yet what they lack in size they more than make up for in endurance. Endurance powerful enough to spearhead the greatest migration on Earth. Their black and white stripes do more than dazzle the eye or blur them into the landscape. These patterns help regulate body temperature, enabling the zebra to withstand the relentless heat of the tropical plains. Their social fabric is equally remarkable. Each small herd is anchored by a dominant male, surrounded by several females, a structure that forges stability, protects the young, and strengthens the herd's ability to move as one when danger strikes. As pioneers of the migration, Grant's zebras perform a vital ecological role. They are the first to graze, consuming the tall, coarse grasses that few other herbivores will touch. Their digestive systems are finely tuned to break down tough cellulose, extracting energy even when nutrition is scarce. And in doing so, they reveal what lies beneath, the tender, mineral-rich shoots that wildebeest crave most. It is here, in this simple act of feeding, that one of the great unspoken partnerships of the migration takes shape. The zebra clears the way, the wildebeest follows, and together, in silent cooperation, they sustain one another across the endless plains. While Grant's zebras set the pace of the Great Migration, it is the blue wildebeest that carry out one of the most extraordinary birthing events on Earth. Each year, 500,000 calves are born in just a matter of weeks between February and March, an average of nearly 8,000 new lives emerging every single day. This synchronized wave of birth is no accident. It is a finely tuned survival strategy. Overwhelming predators like lions, hyenas, and cheetahs, who can only claim a fraction of the vast surge of newborns. For a brief window of time, life outnumbers death. But once the season of abundance passes and the fresh grasses are grazed down to stubble, the soil begins to crack under the first burning sun of summer. This is when the true march of the wildebeest begins. No other mammal dominates the migration as they do, numbering between 1.5 and nearly 2 million. Their collective presence dwarfs every other species on the move. Medium in build, wildebeest weigh between 180 and 250 kilograms, standing less than 1.5 meters tall. Their bodies may seem unremarkable, but inside lies a digestive system perfectly adapted for speed and efficiency, allowing them to draw energy from tender young grasses in a way few others can. This dependence makes them the eternal followers of rain. A wildebeest can sense rainfall from as far as 50 kilometers away, guiding the herds toward grasslands newly reborn by the seasonal showers. Yet what truly sets them apart is the absence of a leader. There is no call, no command, only instinct. The herd flows forward like a single body, moving through a phenomenon biologists call swarm intelligence. Their collective decisions are shaped by inherited memory, instinct, and body language. When one small group begins to move, others follow, like a chain of falling dominoes. What appears to be chaos is, in truth, a fluid and coordinated order, an unspoken unified mind. Beyond survival, wildebeest are silent engineers of the ecosystem. By cropping grasses short, they stimulate fresh growth. Their dung, rich in nitrogen, replenishes the soil. Their relentless movement creates a rhythm of graze, rest, and regrowth that nourishes life at every scale, from invisible microbes to the continent's greatest predators. By mid-year, the herds face their most perilous challenges. Rivers rise to become nature's deadliest barriers. At the Nyati River, when weary calves pause to drink, temptation is met with danger. Once the first plunge is taken, the rest follow in a panicked surge. Beneath the murky surface, Nile crocodiles, giants that have waited for months, explode into action. Some wildebeest are dragged beneath the water. Others freeze in terror as companions vanish beside them. In these moments, survival is reduced to chance. By July, the herds push northward into higher ground. The Serengeti opens wide, drier now, its skies vast above granite kopis, rising like ancient sentinels from seas of grass. Lion prides lie in wait, using the rocky vantage points to track the endless columns of prey. The grasses here are thinner, but tougher, rich in cellulose, enough to sustain the herds through the long marches ahead. But by August, the Mara River transforms everything. Unlike the Nyati, the Mara is deeper, swifter, and far more treacherous. Its steep rocky banks funnel thousands into narrow choke points where fear collides with desperation. Here, one of the wild's greatest dramas unfolds. Tens of thousands of wildebeest cry out, pressing forward in a frenzy, their bodies shoving against one another as they leap into the churning waters below. Crocodiles lie waiting. Panic spreads. The air trembles with the thunder of hooves, the screams of the herd, and the roar of the river. It is here, in this crucible of survival, that the migration reveals its rawest spectacle, life and death entangled in a struggle without end. In these rivers, giants lurk. Adult Nile crocodiles here average between 3.5 and 5 meters in length, with the most dominant individuals stretching up to 6 meters and weighing more than 700 kilograms. Their bodies are living fortresses, built of dense muscle and wrapped in rugged, keratinized armor, able to withstand crushing impacts. Beneath that hide lies another layer of defense. Tiny bony plates, known as osteoderms, transforming these reptiles into true biological tanks of the water. Their colors, shades of gray-brown and olive-green with a pale underbelly, blend perfectly with the mud and the shimmering surface light, making them nearly invisible. On land they seem slow, almost lethargic, but in the water they are precision itself. Their tails, nearly half their body length, act as immense paddles, propelling them forward in a sudden burst, then holding them motionless as they wait. With eyes, ears, and nostrils positioned high on the skull, they remain almost fully submerged, watching everything above the surface, while revealing nothing of themselves below. A thirsty wildebeest, stepping down to drink, rarely realizes it has entered the strike zone of a predator honed by evolution for the art of ambush. Every feature of the crocodile's anatomy serves this purpose. Long, conical jaws, lined with 64 to 68 dagger-like teeth, sharp and endlessly replaced, clamp with one of the strongest bite forces in the animal kingdom, enough to crush bone with ease. But these hunters do not chew. They seize, drag their victim beneath the water, and unleash the devastating death roll, a spinning maneuver that rips flesh and ends the struggle in seconds. When the migration reaches the Mara River, it is the crocodile season of plenty. Tens of thousands of wildebeest throw themselves into the current in a single day. The crocodiles do not need to chase. They choose their position, hold their ground, and wait for prey to deliver itself. Only a handful of the largest individuals make most of the kills, remembering the exact crossing points where success has come before. But the wildebeest have their own advantage, sheer numbers. The more that leap together, the greater the survival rate for each. Though thousands perish in the jaws of the river's hidden giants, the overwhelming flood of bodies ensures the survival of the herd. If they make it through, they reach the promised land, the Masai Mara, with its endless fields of lush green grass. Here, from August to October, the herds finally rest. They graze and regain their strength, preparing for the next chapter of their journey. This is also when the wildebeest enter their breeding season, ensuring that the cycle of life, peril, and migration will begin anew. The Masai Mara is not only a refuge for the herds, it is also a paradise for predators. Lions roam here in extraordinary numbers. Their population in the reserve estimated at around 850 individuals. Leopards, elusive and solitary, thrive at a density of 6 to 10 animals per 100 square kilometers. And the plains echo with the calls of spotted hyenas, whose clans can swell to as many as 60 members. This concentration of hunters makes the Mara one of nature's most relentless battlegrounds. Day and night, hunts unfold in an endless cycle, predators testing their instincts against the will of prey determined to survive. Among them is a shadow that slips between thickets and riverine forest, the leopard. Unlike the lions that rely on the collective strength of a pride, or the hyenas that overwhelm with numbers, the leopard follows a rhythm all its own, quiet, precise, and fiercely independent. In the chaos of migration, it becomes the embodiment of stillness, an apparition that appears only when it chooses. A leopard is a marvel of evolutionary design. Weighing between 30 and 60 kilograms, it is powerful enough to drag a wildebeest calf more than its own weight high into the branches. Strong neck muscles and muscular forelimbs allow it to hoist its prize out of reach of scavengers, turning the treetops into private larders. Unlike predators that depend on the seasonal flood of prey, the leopard survives by adaptability. From rodents, birds, and fish to gazelles, impalas, even young zebras, almost anything can fall victim when timing is perfect. This flexibility allows it to endure lean months, making it a master of survival rather than a gambler on abundance. Yet despite their resilience, leopards remain ghosts of the landscape. Rarely seen, they leave behind only a faint paw print in the damp earth, or a blood stain on the bark of an acacia. Around 50 individuals are thought to live in the reserve, with the greatest numbers hidden in the conservancies and forested riversides. Their true advantage lies not in brute strength or speed, but in patience. They do not rush into the torrent of migrating herds. Instead, they move along the edges, watching the weak, the young, the stragglers, waiting for the one mistake that will expose a victim. A female leopard crouches low in the grass, her muscles coiled, her spotted coat dissolving into the shadows. Step by silent step, she closes the gap. Her keen eyes track every twitch of her target, her padded paws muting her approach. When the distance shrinks to a mere 5 meters, she strikes. A blur of motion, a burst of speed, a crushing bite to the throat. The gazelle struggles for moments only, before falling limp in her jaws. But the hunt does not end with the kill. To keep her prize safe, she drags the carcass into cover, away from prowling hyenas that would rob her in an instant. For the leopard, survival is not just in the chase, it is in the ability to vanish, to hold on to victory, and to live another day unseen. To truly grasp the drama of the hunt, we must turn our gaze to the prey, the Thompson's gazelle. Though it moves with the Great Migration, this delicate antelope follows its own subtle path. It prefers the tender regrowth of grasses, the ultra-short shoots that sprout fresh after the wildebeest has stripped the land bare. In doing so, the gazelle becomes the final grazer, the last filcher of the grasslands. Their numbers are smaller, around 500,000 strong, and their journeys shorter. Many herds never complete the vast loop into the Masai Mara, instead settling within the Serengeti. For some, even the dramatic crossings of the Mara River are avoided, as smaller groups choose safer routes that steer clear of fast-moving water. What they lack in size, they make up for with one of nature's most potent weapons, speed. Adults are capable of reaching 80 to 94 kilometers an hour, outpacing nearly all other antelopes of their size. More importantly, they can hold that pace far longer, sometimes even outlasting the lightning burst of the cheetah. For them, survival lies not in the fastest sprint, but in sheer endurance. Often the chase ends not in death, but in a blur of dust across the savanna, the gazelle vanishing into the horizon with stamina unmatched. And yet they do not rely on speed alone. Their signature behavior, starting, bounding high into the air with stiff, straight legs, sends a clear message. It warns the herd of danger, but it also broadcasts to predators, I am strong, I can outrun you, choose another target. Life on the open plains leaves no place to hide. Instead, Thompson's gazelles have evolved exceptional senses, keen eyesight to detect the slightest movement, sharp hearing, and an acute sense of smell to catch danger carried on the wind. Within the herd, vigilance is amplified. Alarm calls, flashes of white rumps, and visual signals, weaving together into a network of awareness that allows survival against overwhelming odds. But even the sharpest senses cannot shield them completely. As grazers, they play a critical role in shaping the ecosystem, trimming and renewing the land. And as prey, they are vital to predators, most crucially to the cheetah, whose very survival depends on the availability of small antelopes like the Tommy. Under the burning sun of the Mara, the ground quakes with the thunder of wildebeest, a living tide racing across the plains. Yet within this chaos, another drama unfolds, quieter, faster, and infinitely more intense. The chase of the gazelle has begun. The cheetah does not stalk from the shadows. It stands boldly in the full light of day, its body coiled tight like a drawn bowstring, every muscle primed for release. Its amber eyes lock on a single gazelle grazing at the herd's fragile edge, a Thompson's gazelle, small, swift, and unaware of the danger now upon it. Then, in an instant, the silence shatters. The cheetah explodes forward, a blur of muscle and dust, its acceleration unmatched in the animal kingdom. In less than 20 seconds, it surges to 120 kilometers per hour, the fastest speed ever recorded on land. Each stride launches the cat 7 to 8 meters across the grassland, its spine flexing like a whip, its long tail twisting like the rudder of a ship to carve sharp turns through the air. But the gazelle is no easy prey. It reacts in a heartbeat, zigzagging with instinctive precision, its slender legs flashing in a desperate dance for survival. What looks like panic is in fact strategy. Every swerve, every sharp cut, an attempt to exhaust the predator, to outlast the lightning burst. Second by second, the two blaze across the open plain, nothing between them but speed, stamina, and raw instinct. The earth trembles beneath the chase. Dust swirls in the golden light, and then a final lunge, a collision of fur and bone. The gazelle falls, the dust rises, and fate is sealed in a space of a heartbeat. For the cheetah, survival is measured in precision, not power. With its light frame and poor defenses, it avoids the night when lions and hyenas patrol the darkness. Instead, it hunts at the bookends of the day, in the cool of morning or the fading glow of evening. Times when the heat is bearable, the light is soft, and the competition has yet to stir, or has already begun to tire. Cheetahs themselves live lives as varied as the savanna. Females roam alone, raising their cubs in solitude, forever on the move to shield them from prowling predators. Males, however, often find strength in numbers. They form coalitions, tight-knit brotherhoods that work together to hunt, to patrol, and to defend sprawling territories. One coalition, known as the Tono Bora, stunned researchers by bringing down adult wildebeest, an extraordinary feat for a predator built for smaller prey. And yet, for all its brilliance, the cheetah lives precariously close to the edge. Every hunt is costly, burning energy reserves in seconds. After such explosive effort, the cat must rest, panting heavily, vulnerable. It is then that the true struggle begins, for lions, hyenas, and even leopards often arrive to steal the prize. In the Masai Mara, cheetahs lose as much as half their kills to stronger rivals, forcing them to hunt nearly every day just to endure, just to feed their young. Here, in the theater of the Great Migration, life and loss are constant companions. Each year, more than 250,000 wildebeest never return, their bodies feeding predators, scavengers, and the very soil itself. Yet it is this endless cycle of death and renewal that sustains the grasslands. Herds clear the plains as they graze, their droppings enriching the soil, stimulating new growth. The savanna remains open and fertile, a living canvas for both predator and prey. Where the wildebeest go, others follow. Birds like oxpeckers and cattle egrets feast on the insects stirred by hooves. When the herds pass, dung beetles, microbes, and seeds carry on the work, decomposing, renewing, and planting the future. The entire ecosystem turns, gear by gear, powered by migration itself. And in all this movement, there is no script, no rehearsal. Each creature, from the smallest insect to the fastest cat, plays its irreplaceable role in a living symphony, at times chaotic, at times harmonious, but always profoundly alive. If the Great Migration captivates with its sheer abundance, a living river of antelope flowing endlessly across the plains, then Kilimanjaro, our final Tanzanian wonder, leaves its mark in an entirely different way. It speaks not with numbers but with height and solitude. Rising alone above the vast open savanna, Kilimanjaro commands the horizon. At 5,895 meters, it is Africa's tallest mountain and the tallest freestanding peak in the world, a stratovolcano that belongs to no range, a solitary sentinel standing watch over East Africa. Scientists know it was born of three ancient volcanic cones, Kibo, Mwenzi, and Shira. Kibo, the highest and youngest, still slumbers as a dormant volcano, its core quiet but not without the faint possibility of fire one day stirring again. Mwenzi, jagged and dramatic, is long extinct, its summit a craggy crown etched by time. Shira, once mighty, has been weathered down into a broad plateau at nearly 4,000 meters, a windswept stage where sky and earth stretch into infinity. But Kilimanjaro's story is not just written in stone, it is told in life. Across its slopes, climates shift with astonishing speed, stacking ecosystems vertically in a way few places on Earth can rival. In just a few days' climb, one can journey from the heat of the equator to conditions that mirror the Arctic. Scientists often describe it as walking from the tropics to the poles, step by step. At over 5,000 meters, the summit of Kibo belongs to ice. Snow and glaciers crown the peak, lingering year-round in silent defiance of the equatorial sun. The world here is hushed, brittle, and white, an environment that feels more like the poles than Africa. Between 4,000 and 5,000 meters, the landscape changes abruptly. The air thins to just 60% of sea level's pressure, winds howl, and the dark volcanic rock resembles the surface of another planet. Life is pared down to almost nothing. Only mosses and lichens cling stubbornly to the stone. Lower still, between 2,800 and 4,000 meters, the mountain breathes life back into its slopes. Strange primeval plants rise from alpine meadows, towering groundsels more than 6 meters tall. Tropical rainforest wraps around its base like a living cloak, dripping with over 1,200 species of plants and echoing with the calls of hundreds of birds. In this dense canopy, crowned eagles rule from above, their wings sweeping over a world alive with color and sound. Kilimanjaro is at once a geological marvel and a sanctuary of life, where stone, ice, and forest rise together in a vertical journey through Earth's climates. It is a mountain apart, an island of sky that seems to touch the heavens. The crowned eagle's very existence is bound to the deep evolutionary story of Africa's raptors, its lineage reaching back millions of years. Ancient DNA tells us that its genetic branch diverged from primitive occipitrid ancestors at least 3 million years ago, carrying forward a legacy of unique traits: an oversized skull, talons that grow to extraordinary proportions, and leg muscles capable of exerting a grip of staggering power. These are not simply echoes of prehistory, but living weapons, honed by time into the perfect tools for silent domination within the forest. Its hunting strategy is a careful marriage of patience and speed. On the mist-veiled slopes of Kilimanjaro, where colossal trees soar toward the clouds, the eagle waits, invisible among the tangled canopy. It lingers in silence, amber eyes glowing like twin flames in the shadows, every muscle primed for the single explosive moment to come. Below, a troop of colobus monkeys makes its way through the branches, their striking black and white coats rippling like silk in the shifting sunlight. They move with calm assurance, relying on height, agility, and long practice to shield them from danger. But above them lurks a predator adapted to this very world, with wings spanning nearly 2 meters, broad yet agile enough to weave effortlessly between trunks and branches. The crowned eagle can move in complete silence, a rare skill among raptors of its size. And when the strike comes, it is devastating. The eagle's talons clamp with a pressure of over 30 kilograms per square centimeter, 30 times the pressure inside a car tire, more than enough to crush bone and bring down a 10-kilogram monkey in a heartbeat. The stillness shatters with a piercing cry, and then the forest erupts. A blur of feathers and fury plunges from the canopy at speeds exceeding 160 kilometers an hour, threading through branches with lethal precision. A young monkey glances upward, just in time to see the strike, a flash of steel talons locking tight around its body, hoisting it skyward in a violent rush of wings. One scream echoes through the forest, then falls into silence. Panic tears through the troop, bodies scatter in every direction, leaping desperately to branches beyond reach. But it is too late for the fallen. The crowned eagle has claimed its prize, and the shadow of its rule lingers long after it has vanished into the canopy. As one descends the slopes of Kilimanjaro, reaching altitudes between 800 and 1800 meters, the mountain reveals a gentler face, where people and wildlife move in quiet harmony. At its base, where low clouds brush the ridges and the line between Kenya and Tanzania blurs into abstraction, African elephants walk their ancient paths. Their steady footsteps press into the red earth, marking trails that long predate borders or fences. They are wanderers, unbound by human boundaries, cross-border nomads who follow the timeless call of land and season. The elephants of Kilimanjaro live by rhythm, not by fixed territories. Their journeys weave between Amboseli National Park in Kenya and the forested slopes of Kilimanjaro National Park in Tanzania, forming an invisible corridor that unites two ecosystems into a single living whole. In this shared space, their movements forge a biological bridge, stitching together habitats that might otherwise stand apart. When the rains come, they spread across Amboseli's floodplains, feeding in abundance. But when the dry season grips the land, they climb the slopes of Kilimanjaro, seeking food and refuge in the montane forests. These woodlands, rich in clay minerals and bursting with layered plant life, become vital lifelines when the plains grow barren. Migration here is not locked to a calendar, but guided instead by rainfall, by the greening of grass, and by the pulse of vegetation that dictates survival. Among them walk giants, the great tuskers. Their immense ivory nearly brushes the ground, relics of a genetic heritage that has all but disappeared elsewhere in Africa. Scientists studying these herds have found rare genetic variations linked to rapid tusk growth, heightened immunity, and even exceptional longevity. The presence of legends like Big Tim speaks to the survival of an ancient bloodline still carried quietly within this landscape. Yet elephants are more than icons. They are ecosystem engineers, reshaping the land as they move. By breaking shrubs and toppling trees, they carve pathways that other creatures follow. Bushbuck, warthog, duiker, even leopards that stalk in their wake. As they feed on fruits and foliage, they gather seeds in passing, carrying them across vast distances and returning them to the soil through their dung. In the forests at Kilimanjaro's base, as much as 30% of tree species depend on elephants for dispersal, especially those bearing large fruits that no smaller animal can manage. Here their role deepens still further. Kilimanjaro's elephants have been seen climbing steep slopes, mining minerals from the earth itself. With tusks and trunks, they dig into clay-rich soil, unearthing sodium and trace elements that replenish their bodies. In doing so, they create natural salt licks, open to all, their excavations becoming resources for countless other animals in need of vital nutrients. This remarkable act of self-regulation ties the mountain's habitats together, blending geology, biology, and survival into a single thread. For the Chaga people, Kilimanjaro is more than land, it is spirit. They believe the clouds that forever crown its summit are the dwelling place of their ancestors, and the waters that flow from its slopes are gifts from God. To them, the mountain rises not only as a landmark of stone, but as a sacred meeting place between earth and the divine. Kilimanjaro itself stands like a vision of eternity, rising from the savanna in defiance of gravity, weather, and time. Like a biblical Sinai, it is a place where humanity looks upward and glimpses the eternal, where nature and spirit remain forever entwined. Beneath the water's surface, a hidden world thrives, a rich aquatic ecosystem that supports dozens of native fish species. These fish sustain some of the delta's most formidable residents, feeding the Nile crocodile with its armored stealth and the mighty hippopotamus, both enduring symbols of the delta's raw, untamed power. Unlike the crocodile, which drifts silently with the current, or the otter that slips easily through mud and reeds, the hippo carves its own path. Each night, step by deliberate step, it rises from its deep water refuge and makes its way onto land in search of food. Over the years, this relentless routine has etched permanent tracks into the landscape. Known as hippo highways, these underwater trails are pressed into existence by thousands of heavy footfalls, compressing the soft mud into firm pathways, and in time, even reshaping the natural flow of water itself. What began as simple routes of nightly passage has, over generations, grown into a living network of channels. These trails connect shallow pools and far-off marshes to the delta's beating heart, functioning like capillaries in a vast organism. They allow water to spread, to circulate even through the parched months, holding moisture in the soil and sustaining habitats that countless other species depend upon. Recent satellite studies and ground surveys from 2024 reveal the true scale of this engineering. Thanks to these hidden hippo highways, tributary zones across the Okavango still hold water well into October, the height of the dry season. It is the hippo's quiet labor that channels the river outward, feeding wetlands that would otherwise fade away. But their influence does not stop with water. Each night, a single hippo grazes heavily, consuming between 30 and 40 kilograms of soft grasses along the floodplains. Once their bellies are full, they return to the water to cool their massive bodies beneath the surface, away from the punishing sun. There they release huge amounts of waste, natural fertilizer rich in nitrogen and phosphorus, that fuels explosions of algae and plankton, sparking the very foundation of the delta's food web. As the dry season deepens, the vast expanse of the Okavango shrinks to a scatter of shallow waterholes, their edges cracked and fading. These last pools become battlegrounds. From the distance, a pride of lions approaches, driven by thirst and the merciless heat. But to drink, they must challenge the undisputed ruler of the waters. The hippo rises, jaws yawning open like a stone gate, its tusks gleaming sharp as blades. This is not an invitation, it is a warning. Without water, the hippo cannot endure. Its bulk depends on immersion to regulate temperature, its skin too sensitive to withstand the scorching sun. Left exposed, it cracks, bleeds, and invites infection. Without hours submerged in water or mud, hippos dehydrate quickly, their bodies overheating as even their hearts and lungs strain under the sun's assault. That is why, when the last pools vanish, Hippos are forced to march across dry land in search of refuge, their tempers rising with their desperation. At the edge of one shrinking pool, lions gather, their manes bristling, their bodies tense with hunger and thirst. But the hippo lunges forward, swinging open its gaping jaws, tusks nearly half a meter long. A single bite could crush the bones of a buffalo. With one powerful thrust of its head, dust erupts into the air, and the pride retreats, yielding the pool to its rightful master. Yet here, control of water is never the story of one beast alone. Lions, too, crave dominance with equal ferocity. Their prides rule the banks like shadows, turning every approach to the water's edge into a gamble of survival. Unlike lion populations in drier regions such as the Serengeti or Etosha, the lions of the Okavango must adapt to a world ruled by water. With every flood season, the delta transforms into a labyrinth of channels, islands, and shifting marshes. Small patches of dry ground become temporary strongholds, and moving between hunting grounds demands not only strength, but also the ability to swim. While most big cats instinctively avoid water, the lions here embrace it. They cross wide, deep channels with ease, their powerful shoulders and chests honed by a lifetime of pushing through mud and current. This constant struggle against the water has shaped them into some of the most robust lions in Africa. Males weighing up to 250 kilograms, females averaging nearly 170, among the heaviest recorded anywhere on the continent. Yet size alone is not enough. In an ecosystem where the boundary between land and water shifts with the seasons, the lion's very survival depends on strategy. Hunts unfold not across the open plains, but within tall grasses, flooded marshes, and shifting pools. Their chosen prey is the Cape buffalo, a towering adversary of muscle and horn, often weighing more than 600 kilograms. These giants demand water daily, and when threatened, herds instinctively drive their calves and vulnerable members into deeper water, where their bulk and powerful legs allow them to swim and even counterattack. Many a lion has been stopped cold by a wall of black hide, a unified defense of horns and sheer mass. To succeed, Okavango lions must coordinate with precision. They split into groups, using the terrain itself as a weapon. Mud slows their quarry, reeds conceal their approach, and a surprise attack can erupt from unexpected directions. From the cover of papyrus taller than a man, three shadows advance. At the front, a lioness leads, her amber eyes glowing like twin embers in the dusk, flanked by two young males close behind. Ahead, a herd of Cape buffalo wades through a shallow marsh, calves hidden within the towering adults, alert but not alarmed. The lioness halts, crouches low. This is not the chaos of a chase. It is the calm precision of an ambush. With silent signals, the pride splits apart. The two males surge forward, scattering the herd and driving a cow and her calf away from the protective wall. The mother pivots, charging with deadly force, but one male has already circled wide. He launches onto the calf's back, his claws gripping tight. The mother swings, horns slicing through the air, but the lion twists aside, her calf absorbs the impact. From the flank, another lion buries his teeth deep into the belly, dragging the calf down into the reeds. Mud and water fly as the young buffalo cries out, silenced within moments. Exhausted and outmaneuvered, the mother collapses. The hunt is over. The lioness, architect of the ambush, has led her pride to victory. Here in the Delta, females form the core of every hunt. Yet the Okavango has revealed something even more unusual, a rare biological phenomenon. On occasion, lionesses here exhibit traits usually reserved for males. They grow thicker fur along the neck, roar with dominance, scent-marked territories, and in some cases, even lead the pride. Scientists call them maned lionesses. Though they never grow full manes, their behavior mirrors that of males, a likely result of unusually high testosterone levels. The cause, researchers believe, lies in the genetics of an isolated population, where limited diversity and constant pressure from the environment push individuals to evolve traits that cross the boundaries of male and female roles, creating leaders capable of both hunting and defending. Now, our attention shifts to another predator that thrives through numbers, a hunter whose strength lies not in size or stealth, but in the precision of the pack. More efficient than lions, more coordinated than leopards, they may well be the most successful hunters in all of Africa's wilderness, the African wild dog. In the heart of the Okavango Delta, where land is fleeting and water redraws the landscape with every season, these painted wolves have forged a unique path to survival. They do not rule with the raw power of lions, nor with the solitary cunning of leopards. Instead, they win by connection. Every individual, from the dominant pair to the youngest pup, is a vital link in a living machine built on intelligence, speed, and unwavering teamwork. No one is left behind. No one fights for dominance. The pack itself is the source of their strength. And it is this unity that allows them to achieve a hunting success rate of up to 80%, an unrivaled figure in the animal kingdom. Their very bodies tell the story of efficiency. Light and lean, weighing no more than 30 kilograms, they are built for endurance, not brute force. Long legs and deep chests drive them forward mile after mile, while proportionally large hearts keep their stamina burning where other predators would falter. Unlike leopards, whose hunts hinge on a short burst of speed, wild dogs employ a strategy of pressure and persistence, chasing until their quarry has no escape left to offer. But here in the Okavango, the challenge is unlike anywhere else. Floodwaters carve the land into scattered islands, creating both obstacles and opportunities. Though these hunters prefer dry trails to the uncertainty of water, the delta leaves them no choice but to adapt. Riverbanks become natural ambush sites. Trails through reeds become silent hunting paths. Ahead, a red lekwe moves through the marsh, its long hind legs propelling it swiftly across the swampy terrain. Perfectly suited to the wetlands, the antelope seems to glide through the shallows. But today, the water is both ally and enemy. The dogs fan out in silence, circling as though guided by an invisible blueprint. The lekwe bolts, mud exploding beneath its hooves. Seconds later, sharp teeth clamp onto a hind leg, pulling it off balance. Another dog lunges, striking for the throat. The end is swift, clean and quiet, only the sound of water settling and the faint rustle of reeds disturbed by the struggle. Soon silence falls again, broken only by the soft, wet tearing of flesh beneath the morning mist. Yet the true power of the wild dog lies not only in how it hunts, but in how it cares. Unlike the constant rivalry of lions or the tense hierarchies of hyenas, wild dogs live by a different code. After the hunt, the adults feed first to restore their strength, but almost immediately they return to the den, where food is shared with pups, with the injured, with the old. This deep sense of communal care binds the pack tighter than any dominance hierarchy ever could. But the Okavango is never without rivals. As the dogs feed, a low rustle stirs the reeds. A solitary hyena emerges, drawn by the metallic scent of blood. Its hulking frame creeps forward, jaws wide, growling. A sharp bark shatters the quiet, then another. In a heartbeat, 3 wild dogs leap forward, charging with a speed the heavier scavenger cannot match. The hyena lashes out, snapping, but each time it tries to climb the bank, the pack drives it back, striking from different angles, nipping at its flanks, forcing it into the shallows. Outnumbered and outpaced, the intruder retreats. This land is not its own. For the wild dogs, territory is more than hunting ground. It is home. It is sanctuary. It is the cradle of the next generation. A single pack may command an area stretching hundreds of kilometers, a shifting realm of grassland, swamp, and forest. Within it lie the dens where pups are born, where bonds are reinforced and where every hunt ends with food carried home, not just to feed the family, but to remind each member of the unbreakable ties that hold the pack together. The African savanna is where the strength and fragility of seasonal wildlife movements are most vividly displayed. Here, vast grasslands stretch endlessly, where the land and sky echo the eternal rhythm of fire, rain, and renewal. Let us first explore seasonal migration, the most easily recognized form of animal movement. Creatures follow the rains, chasing lush promised lands to call home. Seasonal migration is defined as the yearly, cyclical movement of animals in response to shifts in climate, food, and water availability. It takes place along fixed routes, repeating each year, sometimes covering thousands of kilometers. Ecologists call it seasonal migration because it is tied to the seasons, predictable, cyclical, and constant. This great behavior is driven by one force above all: the contrast between the wet and dry seasons. In the wet season, when water is plentiful and vegetation bursts to life after the first rains, herds spread wide to graze across the flourishing plains. But when the dry season arrives, when the soil hardens and grasses wither, they retreat to wetter refuges, swamps, rivers, lakes, and even hidden pools beneath forest canopy. In Kruger National Park, South Africa, GPS studies reveal that buffalo travel an average of 3 to 4 kilometers each day. In Ruaha, Tanzania, the distance rises to more than 4, and by the height of the dry season, nearly 7. On rare occasions, young males have been recorded covering as much as 95 kilometers in just a few days, pushing beyond their herd's usual range in search of richer grazing or water. Their routes shift with rainfall, river levels, and the quality of grass, a flexible strategy perfectly attuned to environmental change. And their strength lies not only in size, but in unity. Unlike elephants, buffalo are not led by a single matriarch. Instead, they decide together. When the time comes to move, adult females rise and orient their bodies toward the direction they favor. Each stance is a vote, and the majority guides the herd. Studies confirm this democratic process, one that keeps herds cohesive, yet adaptable under shifting conditions. Smaller groups often join to form superherds of up to 2,000 individuals. Such gatherings are a formidable defense, a living wall of horns and muscle, with powerful bulls patrolling the edges and calves sheltered safely at the center. Even lions think twice before confronting such an army. Yet not all buffalo migrate. In regions with permanent water and quick-growing grass, many remain resident year-round, while others move seasonally. This pattern, known as partial migration, has been confirmed in the Kavango-Zambezi region and the Caprivi Strip, where both strategies coexist within the same population. Each choice, whether to stay or to move, depends on rainfall, water, and grass. In this balance of movement and stillness, the African buffalo reveals a survival story as intricate as any on the savanna. High above the Londo rangelands, the tiny eagle soars, its wings slicing through the vast sunlit skies. Below, the golden grasslands stretch endlessly, bathed in the warmth of the day. The eagle's plumage, a blend of browns, seamlessly merges with the semi-arid landscape, granting it perfect camouflage, an unseen predator hidden among the dry shrubs and silvery grasses. Its dense feathers provide protection from the scorching heat of the day and the chill of the night, a vital adaptation in a harsh world where only the resilient thrive. From hundreds of feet above, the eagle's sharp eyes scan the land, keenly aware of every subtle movement below. Each glance is a potential strike, its precision unmatched. This predator's power lies not only in its endurance, but also in its remarkable speed. In a swift, almost explosive dive, the tiny eagle plummets toward the earth, targeting small prey, hares, young antelope, with unerring accuracy. Its sharp talons and strong, hooked beak make quick work of its catch. During the dry season, when water and food grow scarce, the eagle's resilience becomes even more evident. It feeds on a varied diet, from rodents and small birds to the remains left behind by other predators. As a vital cleanup specialist, it prevents the spread of disease and sustains the balance of the ecosystem, ensuring that life in the rangelands continues. Under the relentless heat of the midday sun, the white-headed vulture circles high above the land, its keen eyes scanning the earth below for signs of life or death. As a skilled scavenger, it is often one of the first to arrive at a carcass, diving swiftly to claim the remaining soft tissue before larger predators arrive. With remarkable vision that extends far beyond its immediate surroundings, the vulture can cover vast distances in a single day, traveling up to 6 miles in search of food. Its strong wings carry it effortlessly across the vast Londo rangelands, always on the lookout for the next opportunity to feed. Meanwhile, in the higher reaches of the sky, the Ruppel's vulture, also known as the Ruppel's griffin vulture, glides silently, a vigilant guardian of the air. Soaring at breathtaking altitudes, it thrives in the thin air, thanks to a unique lung structure that enables it to endure and survey the land below. At an astounding flight altitude of 37,000 feet, it holds the record as the world's highest flying bird. Ruppel's vultures are social creatures, rarely seen alone. Instead, they gather in large flocks, often congregating around carcasses to share the spoils. This social behavior enhances their ability to locate food and increases their chances of survival in a region where resources are scarce. Their cooperative strength during feeding ensures they can make the most of every opportunity, even in the most challenging conditions. But threats loom on the horizon. The Ruppel's vulture is currently listed as endangered by the International Union for Conservation of Nature, IUCN. This social behavior enhances their ability to locate food and increases their chances of survival in a region where resources are scarce. Their cooperative strength during feeding ensures they can make the most of every opportunity, even in the most challenging conditions. But threats loom on the horizon. The Ruppel's vulture is currently listed as endangered by the International Union for Conservation of Nature, IUCN, with illegal hunting and habitat loss pushing this majestic species toward extinction. In response, conservation efforts are underway, including population monitoring and restrictions on harmful chemicals, to protect this vital cleanup specialist and secure a future for it in the wild. In the low shrubs and dense grasslands, dik-diks skillfully conceal themselves among the undergrowth, evading the watchful eyes of predators. When danger is sensed, a dik-dik emits a sharp, high-pitched alarm call, alerting nearby animals to the threat and occasionally startling potential predators. This behavior not only offers the dik-dik protection, but also fosters a natural communication network, linking various species in the ecosystem and creating a shared warning system. Dik-diks live in monogamous pairs, typically consisting of one male and one female. Each pair defends a territory that spans 12 to 15 acres, where they forage, protect their boundaries, and raise their young. To mark their territory, dik-diks utilize special scent glands near their eyes, leaving chemical markers on plants and the ground. As herbivores, dik-diks primarily feed on soft grasses, tender leaves, and occasionally bark. Remarkably, they are able to extract enough moisture from the plants they consume, enabling them to survive in the arid regions where water is scarce. At the dense edges of the forest, where the bushland meets a tapestry of vibrant green foliage, the white-cheeked turako glides effortlessly through the air like a living jewel. Its brilliant green feathers and striking red wings paint bold strokes of color against the lush landscape, adding a vivid contrast to the surrounding wilderness. The turako's resonant calls echo through the treetops, filling the atmosphere with a sense of both mystery and life. These birds typically live in pairs or small groups of 3 to 7 individuals. Known for their territorial nature, they defend their home ranges with remarkable fierceness, using their long-reaching cuckoo calls not only to communicate, but also to warn off intruders. Primarily fruit eaters, white-cheeked turakos also consume tender leaves, flowers, and the occasional seed. They gather fruit from both branches and the forest floor. In doing so, they play a crucial role in seed dispersal, aiding the regeneration of forest vegetation and contributing to the growth of new plant life in surrounding areas. Amid the lush green foliage, a vibrant world comes alive with the flutter of shimmering wings. Sunbirds and spider hunters dart between treetops at breathtaking speed, their powerful wings carrying them gracefully through the canopy. In times of scarcity, these agile foragers can travel up to 5 miles in a single day, tirelessly searching for flowering plants. As they approach each bloom, their specialized, brush-tipped tongues delicately extract nectar, providing a vital energy source to sustain their long, energetic flights. But their diet is not limited to nectar alone. During the breeding season, these birds shift to a protein-rich menu of small insects, ensuring their young receive the nutrients essential for growth and development. This dietary adaptability equips them to endure the forest's harshest conditions, particularly during the dry seasons when resources are limited. While feeding, pollen clings to their beaks and tongues, unwittingly turning them into pollinators. As they move from flower to flower, they facilitate the reproduction of countless plant species. Through this seemingly simple act, they help sustain the forest's rich plant diversity, an intricate web that provides food, shelter, and life to millions of other organisms. The name secretary bird carries 2 fascinating origin stories. One theory ties it to the image of a 19th century secretary, clad in gray with quill pens tucked behind the ear, mirroring the bird's sleek gray plumage and its elegant black crest feathers. The other traces its roots to the Arabic word sakarat, meaning hunter bird, a far more fitting description for this terrestrial raptor. Unlike most birds of prey that dominate the skies, the secretary bird rules the ground. It is a specialist in hunting snakes, even deadly ones like cobras and puff adders. Its secret weapon, a devastating kick. Armed with long legs and horn-covered feet, each strike lands with bone-crushing force, up to 5 times the bird's own body weight, and is delivered in under 15 milliseconds. Swift, powerful, and lethal. But it's not just brute force that defines this bird. It's precision. The secretary bird's attacks are often aimed with uncanny accuracy at the head or neck of its prey, neutralizing the threat in an instant. a hunter in both name and nature. The secretary bird is one of Africa's most extraordinary predators, elegant, efficient, and utterly fearless. Once the African wild dogs have fed, tearing their prey apart in a frenzied feast, they move on, leaving behind nothing but scraps of flesh and shattered bone. In their wake, black-cloaked figures descend from the sky, like silent mourners at a funeral. These are marabou storks, creatures both eerie and essential. Nicknamed the Undertaker birds for their grim appearance, they play a vital ecological role as nature's cleanup crew. Shaped by millions of years of evolution, the marabou stork is a master of the scavenger's trade. Its head and neck are stripped of feathers, revealing blotchy pink skin, a biological adaptation that prevents infection when plunging deep into rotting carcasses. If covered in feathers, the fluids and bacteria from decay would cling and fester, turning survival into sickness. Like vultures, marabou storks walk a specialized evolutionary path, engineered not for the hunt, but for what comes after. They are among the largest flying birds on Earth, standing up to 1.5 meters tall, with wingspans stretching nearly 4 meters, wider than a family car is long. And yet, despite their massive size, they are built to soar. Hollow bones in their legs and toes lighten their frame, allowing them to ride thermal updrafts effortlessly. High above the savanna, sometimes soaring at over 4,500 meters, they glide with barely a wing beat, eyes scanning the grasslands for death. Often they work in tandem with vultures. While vultures use their hooked beaks to tear through tough hide, marabou storks employ their long, wedge-shaped bills to probe deep into crevices, extracting the remains others cannot reach. When a carcass is too tough to open, they wait, patient, opportunistic, and when the moment is right, they will even fight for a fragment of meat. This quiet cooperation and occasional competition forms a scavenger hierarchy, ensuring no part of a kill is wasted. More than mere opportunists, marabou storks are essential to the balance of the ecosystem. By consuming carrion, they cleanse the environment of rot and disease, recycling death back into life. By late June, as the wildebeest press farther north, the air begins to shift. It grows clearer and drier by the day. Rainfall, once abundant in May, drops dramatically, from around 74 millimeters to just 27 in June, then plummets below 15 millimeters by July. With humidity falling and clouds dispersing, the Serengeti transforms. Lush green plains gives way to a landscape of crisp, dry openness, a dramatic contrast to the rainy season's bloom. The terrain in the north becomes gently rolling, dotted with open woodlands. It's the perfect stage for predators, lions, leopards, hyenas, and cheetahs, to hunt and thrive. In the central Serengeti, exposed granite outcrops known as kopjes offer predators elevated perches to scan the golden plains below. For the wildebeest, every step into this region is a step deeper into danger. But they are not alone. This migration of over 2 million antelope includes not just wildebeest and plain zebra, but also a smaller, often overlooked companion. Agile, alert, and favored by hungry cheetahs, the Thompson's gazelle moves with cautious intent through the sunlit grasses. Nicknamed the Tommy, this antelope is the dancer of the savanna, a symbol of grace in a perilous world. In a land where survival demands speed and precision, the Thompson's gazelle is a master. It can sprint up to 90 kilometers per hour and twist away from danger with startling agility, thanks to its small, razor-sharp hooves. Cheetahs and leopards must think twice before giving chase. When threatened, a Tommy may spring high into the air with all 4 legs stiff, a maneuver called stotting. It's both a warning and a bold display of strength. Unlike the bulk of the herd, Thompsons don't lead the charge. They trail behind or skirt the flanks, not out of weakness, but strategy. Once taller grasses are trampled by larger animals, the Tommy grazes on the tender, energy-rich shoots revealed beneath. Nutrient-packed and easier to digest. It's a clever tactic, staying off the main path, conserving energy, and avoiding the spotlight of predators. Small in stature, but vital to the plains. The Thompson's gazelle helps regulate grass growth and sustains one of Africa's most iconic hunters, the cheetah, the fastest land predator on Earth. Nearly 2 million wildebeest embark on an epic journey, one that spans nearly 3,000 kilometers across the heart of East Africa. Driven by instinct and the eternal search for greener pastures, they cross the crocodile-infested waters of the Mara River, press through sun-scorched grasslands, and forge ahead despite the ever-present threat of predators lurking in the shadows. Each year, 250,000 will fall, claimed by the hazards of the migration. Yet this relentless march continues because survival depends on it. This is the Great Migration. These 1 to 2 million wildebeest are not merely chasing the rain. With each thundering hoofbeat, they breathe life back into a fragile and ancient ecosystem, sustaining countless species along their route. Survival. The struggle to endure is fiercer than ever. Only the most resilient life forms leave their mark upon the mountain's enduring cliffs. Relentless, unforgiving, the race for survival has begun.